Hello, everyone. Welcome to Training Tuesday, and I hope you all had a great 4th of July. My name is Heidi Reese, and I am with Dayton Superior's Marketing Department. Just wanted to remind you that everyone has been muted so that we can all enjoy the webinar without disruptions. But please feel free to provide any questions you may have throughout the presentation in the Zoom chat functionality, and I will read those to the presenters and we'll get them answered for you at the end. So, in addition to each of our webinars, I just want to let you know that we record these and they're placed on our Dayton Superior YouTube channel as well as DaytonSuperior.com website. Just search for product videos and you can find all of the past ones and view them at your leisure. So today's topic is a fun one, and we're going to come to learn how the tilt-up estimating tool can save you time in your tilt jobs. And we'll also touch on how to create bid sheets, estimating your needs for the job, various calculations, quantities required for the project, and so much more. So with us today are a couple of presenters that have been instrumental in the tilt-up world through Dayton Superior. David Jaquette, who has been with the construction industry for 33 years, and over the past 17 has worked as a tilt-up dealer, a Dayton Superior Simons forming representative, and is currently our technical sales representative for the tilt-up. He has been a state of Florida licensed builder since 1991 and performed his first tilt-up project in 1996. We also have Matt Laird, who joined Dayton Superior in March 2022 as a technical sales representative for the West North Central Tilt-Up Division, and he brings with him 24 years of experience in the tilt-up industry with 20+ years designing lift and bracing, making him a great resource to learn about the tilt-up products and industry. So, as you see on the screen, this presentation is intended for training purposes. So if you have any technical specifications, questions, or the tool that we're going to be going over, you'll need to go to www.daytonsuperior.com. So first up will be David, and he will send us through a presentation to explain and all the things that I just talked about. And then Matt's going to give us a little presentation of the actual tool on the fly. So David.
Hey, Heidi. Okay, yeah, so a little while back, our Superior Tilt team got with our IT department and came up with a tilt-up estimating tool. And this is probably the 5th generation, and it's really grown. I think it's a real usable tool for our dealers and for our contractors. So we're going to spend a few minutes and go through it with you guys. The way to access it is through our website, which is DaytonSuperior.com. And when you go to the main page, you look at on the right, there's a highlighted in blue, there's a resource button. And underneath the resource button, there's calculator. So you click on that and it comes up to the calculate your needs. And if you look at the bottom, there's a tilt up estimation tool. So you click right there and it brings you to the login page. So you see my login information there. If you've never used the tool before, you'll need to log in. It just takes a couple of minutes, register new user, and then you can go ahead and log in. So once you log in, it'll come up to the estimating tool. And you can see below where I've done some projects in the past. And today we're gonna just click create new bid. So you'll click create new bid. And up comes the job information section. So you're going to enter your job name and your location, your company name, dealer, the contractor's name, the engineer if you have it. That's always useful for us. A lot of engineers are using TiltWorks, so a lot of times we could get access to their plans a lot easier, and it speeds up estimates. The bid date and the takeoff date. So the next thing you need to do is we're going to have to enter some information, and for most tilt jobs, a good place to start is the structural drawings. And this is the structural notes of a project. And it's always a good idea, no matter what you're estimating, rebar, tilt up panels, concrete, whatever it is, it's always a great idea to take a read through the engineering notes. This is a plan view of the same building, and we want to find out what the square foot of the building is. This building's 129 feet, 3¼ inches by 80 feet. So that would give us 10,340 square feet. And that's important because the tilt-up estimator is going to estimate how much bond breaker you're going to need and how much curing compounds you're going to need. The next thing we need to find out is we need to find out what's the width of the tilt wall panels. And this is an elevation of the north and east walls on this project. And we can look at it and it shows all the different panel widths. And the first panel, I think that's N1, is 31 feet, 11¼ inches. So we've got what our panel widths are. And of course, they're different for every panel, so you'll have to look that up, but we're just going to use this one for an example. And then we need to find out what our panel heights are. If you look at this drawing, the top of the wall or top of panel is 116 feet. And the top of footing elevation is 97 feet. So 97 from 116 gives us a 19-foot panel height. And you'll also notice that our top of the concrete is at 100, and the top of the footing is at 97. So this panel is going to extend below the finished concrete floor 3 feet, and that's going to be important because it's going to let us know what brace we're going to use. We won't need as long a brace if we have to brace back to the floor. Next thing we want to find out is the openings in the panel. This panel has two 12-foot by 14-foot 6-inch openings, which gives you 174 square feet each. So that times 2, so the total openings on this panel is 340 square feet. And then this is just the elevation of the south and the west walls, and you'll want to look at the south and west walls the same as you did the north and the east. So you get the panel widths and panel heights for these walls. And then the last bit of information we're going to need is the thickness of the panel. And this is a plan view looking down at a panel sitting on top of a foundation. And you can see that this panel is 7¼ inches thick. And that's going to give us the information we need to enter into the calculator. So we go back to the tilt wall calculator, and you're going to want to put in the slab area. It says 2,400 square feet there, but really it's 10,000, over 10,000 feet. So you're going to put that in. You're going to put your panel description, what panel it is, the panel quantities, the thickness. We have a section there for an exterior wife. We won't need to worry about that today, but if you were doing an insulated panel, that would be important. You'll put in the panel width, the panel height, the openings, the finished floor elevation, and then you'll select a bracing system and a lifting system. And then you'll hit calculate. Calculate that for you. When you've entered all the panels in, I'll go back real quick. Once all the panel information's in, you'll hit the print icon, and it'll print you out an estimate. And on that estimate, it's going to have all the job information. And if you look at estimated material summary, it's going to tell you how many inserts you're going to need. It's going to let you know what the bracing inserts you're going to need. It's going to let you know how much lift hardware you're going to need, how many and what type of brace and what type of bolts and they're going to need to connect them to the wall and to the floor. It'll also calculate your shim packs, your panel to base anchors, your slab savers. It'll calculate patch caps and all your curing compound and bond breaker. And then it'll give you a panel summary for each panel that you input. And if you ever have any questions on anything, you can always email us at superiortilt@datesuperior.com, or you can email myself or Matt directly. My email is davidjaquette@datesuperior.com, and Matt's is mattlaird@datesuperior.com. And I think at this point, Matt's going to actually go ahead and do enter some panels into the estimation tool and kind of give you a live look at how the tool works.
Great. While you guys are getting that all straightened up, I just want to remind everyone that, as they're going through the tool, if you want to go ahead and put in some chats, questions, we can kind of go through that at the same time to make it real for you. So I've got one question. How do you figure out the lift bars and the panels? And maybe we need the tool for that, but well, David, if you want to take that, yep.
Yeah, so I'm assuming he's asking, I'm not sure what he's asking. Are you asking rebar around the lift insert?
I believe he's asking David about additional reinforcing, if any, required for the thing embracing portion. And that's not something that we would qualify on this type of estimate. If something like that would be needed, we would ask that you direct that through our estimation group in-house here in Orlando. And they would probably run that through TiltWorks if there was a specific project or a specific panel that any additional rebar for lifting and bracing purposes was required. This estimation tool, yeah, of course. This estimation tool is really strictly for bill of materials, as in regards to like lifting and bracing accessories, braces, and things of that sort.
Okay, great. Matt, we can see your screen if you want to go ahead and go to the tool. We're seeing the DaytonSuperior.com website, and the banner is going across a couple different times.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Heidi. Just real quick, gonna go kind of from the beginning of where David started with his presentation. So we're at the Dayton homepage. We're gonna go to resources. We're gonna go to calculators, and at the bottom, the tilt estimation tool. And as he mentioned, if you're a new user, you'll have to register. I'm already registered, so we'll just log in. Here are some of the projects I've been working on, and I will view kind of what the basic project that David was going through. So on this project, there needs to be two more panels. Two more typical panels input to complete the project. These are the first 5 that have been input. We will be looking at, for the most part, this panel here and this panel here. Some of the information that David had mentioned were the heights, the widths, the openings, the panel thickness, which is going to be denoted down below it, and the opening square footage. So, as David kind of explained, we're going to name these panels E3 and W3. There are 2 of those. The thickness is going to be 7 1/4. There's no fascia, or it's not an insulated panel. The panel width is going to be 20 feet. The panel height is going to be 32.65 feet, or 32 7 5/8. Since this was a sloped panel along the top, we want to enter the tallest portion of the panel, which is the 32 feet 7 5/8 inch. There is one opening on that panel. The opening is 14 feet 8 inches tall, 12 inches by 12 foot wide. It's a total of 176 square feet. The finished floor elevation is at 3 feet. We are going to brace this to a 6-inch slab, and we are going to use base inserts, and then we will just click calculate. Now this is panel E3W3, which is not under this portion here yet. When you click calculate, and it will show up. It will show up with everything that was entered above. And we're ready to do the next panel, which is going to be panel E4 and W4. There are two of those panels. And now we are going to be looking at this panel over here. The panel thickness again is 7 1/4. It's not insulated. There's no fascia, so that is 0. The panel width for that is going to be 20 feet. The panel height on the high side, which is along this portion here on this side, is 19 11 5/8. It has one opening. Again, it's 14 foot, 8 inches tall by 12 foot wide. That's a total of 176 square feet. The finished floor, again, is at 3 feet. We're going to brace it to a 6-inch slab, and we're going to use face inserts. We will calculate, and there's the last panel. So at this point, this whole project has been estimated. All the panels have been input. We will go to there, and this is where you get what David showed earlier in the presentation of all the project information, the braces, a summary for lifting inserts, bracing inserts, the hardware, shim packs, bond breaker, panel base anchors, all the necessary materials. And this portion is just a breakdown of each panel that we input back in the estimation tool. And when you estimate here to get this readout, the Dayton Superior team is basically notified via email. And that really helps out with forecasting projects and planning for material to be produced. And with that, that would basically a quick summary. That's basically a quick summary of how to use the actual tool. And if there's any questions, we can take questions now.
Great, thank you, Matt. So as you guys are figuring out your questions to ask, I put in a couple different links to everyone in the chat. First of all, since we had the question and it was pertaining to TiltWorks, this is not TiltWorks, but I wanted to give you access to that page. And if you haven't had a free trial, the ability to sign up for that. And then lastly, the direct link to what we are discussing today with the tilt-up estimation tool. And then you can do what they are doing as we're going over it. So if there's any questions, please enter them into the chat and we'll get them answered for you. Well, I think this tool is pretty self-explanatory once you get in there and look at it. That's attesting to you guys doing a good job with the presentation. And we'll just wait just a minute to see if anybody has any questions or trying to think about how to ask. I do want to note again, from a marketing standpoint, all of this and more can be found for training. We have some other tilt training in the past. If you just go to DaytonSuperior.com and search on product videos, you can peruse all the different ones. We are in the process of reorganizing it to make it a little bit smoother, but you can just search for tilt things. Oh, here's a question. If your engineer uses TiltWorks, will you still need to enter all of this data in the estimating software?
No, you wouldn't need to do that, Heidi. If your engineer uses TiltWorks and that TiltWorks would share that file with us, we can produce that estimate in TiltWorks. It would probably be a little bit more detailed estimate. It'll take off reveal and things of that nature. So you wouldn't need to use the tool if the project has been engineered in TiltWorks.
But David, this is a good tool to use when you don't have a TiltWorks subscription, right? I mean, this is free for people to utilize and to help them with their calculations and whatnot. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, exactly. This is a hopefully one day everybody will be using TiltWorks, but for the time being, this is really for projects that have not been designed in TiltWorks. It's a quick, easy way to produce an estimate.
Fantastic. Okay, I've got another question. Can you plug in the braces that you have available so you don't have to scramble to find braces you don't have available?
Sean, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Tony. So for this version or this tool, like David mentioned, this is I think a your pocket tool that will give you a pretty detailed estimate immediately. If you have specific braces that would be substandard, meaning if you needed a 32 or 37 or a 42-foot brace, which most projects need right now, but you wanted to see if a 42 or 52 or a 22+N was more applicable, I would say that you would send that into our estimation group. And then at that point, we can look at and utilize TiltWorks to provide that estimate and see what kind of options that would be best fit for your project. TiltWorks does have that option, that versatility to select specific braces. This tool, and I think Matt was going to take a look at that again. This tool allows you to do a primary and optional brace. So if it's a typical panel, let's say if it's 42, 45 foot tall, a lot of those panels, depending on the finished floor height, can go either 32, 37, or 42-foot brace. And the calculator for this online tool actually takes that into consideration. It will show you if you have an optional brace or another appropriate brace. So to answer your question, Tony, this tool does not have that capability, but we do have that capability in TiltWorks. And you can always reach out to David. And then in your region, it would be Matt out in the Utah region. So, and he could help you out with that.
Great, thanks, Sean. For those of you who don't know Sean, he's our Dayton Superior Director of Business Development for TiltUp, so he knows his tilt. Appreciate your answers, and all you guys are really smart and up to date on the tilt. We do have one question. You may have answered it, but approximate turnaround time for an estimate after you fill out the estimating question. So they want to know the approximate turnaround time.
It's different for every project depending on the complexity. But generally, if you send it a request to our estimating department, 5 to 7 days. Sean, does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate for the volume that we're seeing right now. It really just depends on the complexity and that. But yeah, I would say about 4 to 5 business days, maybe a little bit 7 business days if it's a very complex or multi-building project. But usually try to get it turned around pretty quickly.
Great. Okay, we've got some good questions going. I like how we're talking about this tool, moving it into TiltWorks to kind of give it a little plug. Anybody else have questions on this TiltUp estimation tool and what it can do for you?
I would have a comment as opposed to a question. This is Sam Stubblefield. I'm a dealer sales manager for Dayton, and I found that this tool comes in handy, or it's used mostly if there's a time constraint and you need to get a list of materials together just to, so you can bid on the project. And this can be done almost instantaneously once the drawings are like in your hands, or send it to me and I can look at it too. And we can get that right over to you. And then if you're utilizing TiltWorks or the other, or you're going to send into estimating, that's for more detailed and it's more time consuming. But this tool is fantastic if you're caught with your pants down, so to speak, and you need to bid like in 2 days, and we can get you lined out on product and quantities right away.
Oh, thanks, Sam. And I'm so glad we got you, Sam, with your pants down recorded. All right. Good conversation. Anybody else?
Yeah, Heidi, if possible, I want to go over one more kind of feature that's kind of in the background on the estimating tool. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yep, we've got 5 minutes, actually 6.
Okay, is my screen back up?
It is.
Okay. One of the other features in here, just to make things a little quicker or try to speed things up, is the copy panel feature in here. So if I actually have this last panel that I input, the last one I did was E4W4. If I have a similar panel to that, let's say it was the same thing, but with no opening, that did not have that 14.8 by 12 foot wide opening, I can just go copy panel. It's going to pull up all the information from the previous panel. I can rename that panel E5, and I can remove the opening in it, and it's ready to calc. So just with a couple field entries changing, the next panel hypothetically is done. It's actually done, and you can just keep moving on. Another feature in there, kind of touch on what Mr. Frazier was asking earlier, was the bracing selection and different types. For this particular panel, you can see the highlighted column is the brace that's being required, which is the B7. There's a column that says alternate. Should there be an alternate choice? If you were to select alternate brace here, you can see now that it highlights that that's what it's going to pick up at the end in the materials list, that you selected to use the alternate brace that is being shown as the option, as opposed to the, I guess, original brace that was done. So that's kind of a quick summary of the copy panel feature, as well as whether you're going to use the original or what's selected as the brace design, or if you're going to use the alternate brace as the option.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for the quick copy look and feel of the tool. It's a nice feature. All right, well, if there's no more questions, I'll give you a little bit more to put a question in. Just a plug that if you want to go ahead and sign up for the next Tuesday, we're going to be doing bar supports, metal and plastic bar supports in the different sizes, what you might need for your application and whatnot. It doesn't look like there's any more questions, so I want to thank everyone for joining today. And just remember, like I said, we've got new topics every Tuesday. The one coming up is bar support. It's always at Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, the presentation has been recorded and will be made available later on this afternoon. And I'll send you an email letting you know when and where. I appreciate everyone joining, and all you guys have a happy Tuesday. Thank you.